Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Potsie Chronicles. And man, if you're wondering why I sound like this, it's because this episode, man, it was just wild, and maybe not in the way that you'd think I'd be talking about.
Episode number 14. If you're listening to these in order, we had skipped this because I forgot what. So, real quick, I don't want to go over it too much more, but we're watching all these on DVD. They're not on streaming services. Season 1, as of when we have been recording this, 3 DVDs. It's kind of hard to keep track. They're not numbered. All these different episode titles. But anyways, I somehow skipped this last week. We did the one that was last week, this week. Wait, does that even make sense? I don't even know. I'm all confused here. I don't even know what's going on. But yeah, so this is episode 14. We did 15 last week, so we're catching up. So episode 14. Also, Pete Rose's number 14. Were there any other famous athletes that wore the number 14? I just know Pete Rose for 14.
There probably is. I just can't think at the moment.
Yeah, I'm sure there is, but Pete Rose is pretty synonymous with 14. The episode was called The Best Man. When you saw the title, which I did not last week apparently, but I saw it this week, what did you think of when you saw the title, The Best Man?
Well, when I saw that, I thought, I wasn't really sure what to think. I mean, I know that they have, best mans at weddings and stuff, so I thought maybe, someone would be the best man at a wedding. Maybe, I don't know. It could have been maybe, the Fonz or something. I was kind of thinking, because, the Fonz is, out of high school. He's kind of...
Yeah.
He's also kind of cool with everybody. I could see him being a best man, so.
If he's their age, though, could he have gotten married? How old did you have to be married in the 50s? I don't know. But do you think that, Fonzie would be someone's best man if they asked him, or do you think he'd be too cool for that? What do you think?
I think it depends on the person.
Okay, let's go over some people. Chuck.
I mean, who wouldn't want to be his best man?
Richie.
No.
You don't think so?
Well,
he seems to have an affinity for Richie for some reason.
Yeah, okay.
We don't know
maybe
yet.
for his master plan.
Yeah, we don't quite know it yet, but yeah. Ralph Malph.
I feel like Ralph Malph would be the best man at Fonzie's wedding.
Yeah, okay. And then let's just do one more. Potsie.
No.
Yeah. So, it was not Fonzie as the best man. Fonzie does briefly appear in this episode, which we'll talk about now. So episode 14, The Best Man. We start off with the credits, still rock around the clock. And one thing that I noticed is that, we have the closed captioning come on, and that's not always accurate. But for the song, it said something about put your rags on.
What?
It either said that or the beginning of the Rock Around the Clock song sounded like he said, put your rags on. Is he talking put your clothes on? Is he talking about, is that even the lyric? I guess I should have Googled it before I mentioned it, but I'm pretty sure that the closed caption said, put your rags on. You know that the beginning of the song, and it's about the clock striking 1, because I guess on and 1, they don't really rhyme. Do they? On and 1? I don't know. I can't really sing it because I don't know what the copyright for songs on podcasts are. We've been having this discussion for a while, but something about, yeah. But do you notice that? I wonder if that's the lyrics or if that's one of the, the Jimi Hendrix song, Purple Haze. He says, excuse me while I kiss the sky, right? And a lot of people thought he said, excuse me while I kiss this guy.
What?
Yeah. I think Ozzy Osbourne thought. I don't know if anybody. I know Ozzy Osbourne said that. I don't know if anybody else said that. Maybe it was just.
It sounded like it, or it was actually in the song?
Well, in the song, he actually says, excuse me while I kiss the sky. And Ozzy Osbourne, maybe others, claim that he always thought that he said, excuse me while I kiss this guy.
I'm going to have to hear this.
Yeah. So, episode 14, The Best Man. The opening credits happen. We cut to the Cunningham kitchen. Richie and Marion are bringing in the groceries, and Marion's commenting, what happened to that delivery boy? right?
Yeah.
And like in the 50s, I mean, I guess they have delivery now at groceries. I don't know why I'm shocked that they do such things. You know what I mean? But like now, I feel like you have to pay for delivery. I don't know. Do you think you had to pay extra for delivery for groceries in the 50s, or do you think that they were just being nice back then? Did they have like all this like out of control capitalism in the 50s?
I mean, I do feel that everything was cheaper back then, so.
Yeah. So Richie mentioned something about how he got fired because he was like making holes in the butter if he didn't get tips. Yeah. So then Howard enters the kitchen. He says he has an old army friend coming by as Marion and Richie are putting the groceries away. Howard's friend comes in. He's a black gentleman that he was in the army with. Richie and Marion invite him to dinner. We cut to the dinner table. The Cunninghams are at the table with Howard's old army buddy, Fred. They're talking. Apparently, Fred is going to get married, right? He has like a local fiance that lives in Milwaukee, right?
Yeah.
They don't really say if he's, did they say if he's from Milwaukee or if his fiance is there?
Uh, I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, so it ends up that he's going to be married and he invites Howard to his wedding. He's going to get married in Milwaukee. So then we cut to Howard and Fred looking at a scrapbook, I guess from their army days. And apparently there's a female that keeps showing up, right?
Yeah.
Like with Howard, without Howard. And I guess they're talking about her. And then Marion comes by. I don't know if she's carrying any milk or cookies or anything. I feel like she's doing something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Marion comes by and then she's like, well, who are you talking about? And Howard's like, oh, we're just talking about our army days. And it ends up that she does see the lady in question that they were looking at, and then notices that there's only a picture of the lady, if I'm not mistaken, in the scrapbook, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and then what big plot point that I forgot to say during this, Fred asked Howard to be the best man at his wedding because I think he said something like he doesn't know that many people in Milwaukee or something to that effect, right?
Yeah.
So I'm guessing then his fiance is from Milwaukee. We really need to remember to take notes. So while they're discussing this, he asks Fred if he'd like more coffee, I believe, and Fred decides that he's going to go in the kitchen to get it. And then I believe her name was Ms. Flattery, right?
Yeah.
Miss Flattery
Did not seem so flattered.
is an older lady. And she wants to use the phone because I think, didn't she say something? Which this, I can't remember. I feel like something like her husband got mad and ripped it out of the wall. Am I just thinking things here or did that really happen?
I can't remember.
I don't know. Something very bizarre with their phone line happened. It wasn't just like, oh, the phone went out. We're going to have to call tomorrow morning to get the phone people to come back. But something bizarre happened. Now, again, please keep everything in perspective that this is the 1950s. So, landlines back then, all those kinds of things. So apparently she wants to use the phone in the kitchen, right?
Yeah.
So she goes in the kitchen and meets Fred.
Yeah.
And she comes back.
She seems very nervous.
Yes. She tells Howard there's a man in the kitchen, and Howard's like, oh, yeah, that's my friend Fred, right?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then she's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. And then Fred and Howard tell her about how Fred's about to be married, and he's looking for a house, and maybe in the neighborhood, and like she, let's just say, doesn't seem too happy about that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Howard and Fred start messing with her that like they're going to get the house next door to her, all those types of things. Yeah. So then we cut to they're in bed, Marion and Howard, and somehow it gets to the point where Howard tells Marion that she's prejudiced, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Marion is like that she's not prejudiced. So they kind of do a back and forth, and then Marion realizes that she is prejudiced, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they're talking about how Howard is going to go meet Fred's father-in-law soon-to-be father-in-law, who is an Undertaker. Not the Undertaker, but an Undertaker. And then Marion mentions how she's never met an Undertaker, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So then Marion decides, this could have been, I don't even know. This could have been either after or during, but Marion decides to have the wedding at their house, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Marion suggests the house. Howard doesn't want to have the wedding at this house, but then they end up deciding to have the wedding at the house. So then we cut to the funeral parlor, not the funeral parlor of the Undertaker and Paul Bearer, where they used to host that. Was it Paul Bearer that used to be the funeral parlor host? I think it was, because the Undertaker didn't talk so much back then. Yeah, I think Paul Bearer was like the funeral parlor host, and the Undertaker kind of just stood there. But yeah, it wasn't that.
I only know Paul Bearer with The Undertaker, and that's it.
Can you do a Paul Bearer imitation?
I don't even remember what he sounds like.
Oh, my Undertaker. Like that. Yeah. So anyway, this is going so far off. So yeah, so they're there. Fred's soon-to-be father-in-law is polishing a coffin.
I think that impression was way better than this episode.
Yes, thank you. Polishing a coffin and just saying like, hey, he doesn't want his daughter to have like a bad wedding, and he doesn't like that it's going to be at their house. He doesn't even like that Howard's the best man, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Then Howard wants to take a seat, but then he's sitting by some ashes, I believe, or he wants to go in the other room, but then the guy's like, oh, that's the embalming room, right? So Howard stays there. I believe that Fred and the soon-to-be father-in-law kind of get into an argument about it, right?
Yes.
And Fred leaves, leaving just Howard and the Undertaker. Then Howard tells the Undertaker he missed the spot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we also forgot to mention Fred is staying with the Cunninghams during all of this. So then we cut to the Cunningham house. Howard is at the breakfast table wearing a pink robe. And apparently he is so flustered with everything going on, like he's wearing Marion's robe, right? She says something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Marion comes in, tells him, you're wearing my robe. Then Richie comes in and he enjoys himself a glass of milk. What was Richie doing up? Was he the one that said that they should have the wedding there? I can't even remember. We really need to remember to take notes.
I don't know. It could have been him or Marion.
Yeah. So Richie comes in. I think he says something about how he's excited for the wedding to be there. Then there is the doorbell ringing, right?
Yeah. And Richie also spills some of his milk.
Yeah, they don't really mention that. Yeah, I wonder if this was like a scene that they just decided to keep in because everything else was good. You know what I mean? Or they just didn't want to. But anyways, we cut to the front door and there is a police officer at the door with Fred.
Yeah.
And the police officer says, this guy claims that he's staying with you. And then Howard's like, well, yes, of course he is staying with me. And the police officer's like, oh, I'm sorry. I just hear this all the time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they end up, the policeman apologizes. Marion, I think, invites him for some kind of dinner. And he says something like, no, I don't think straight if I have anything to eat. And then Howard says something like, well, you must have had a lot to eat then before. Yeah. So then the police officer leaves. We cut to Fonzie bringing in chairs with Richie, right?
Yes.
Yeah, this is the one. Well, actually, there's two appearances of Fonzie. He's wearing the gray jacket, coming in with the chairs. And
is Fonzie in like every episode that we've watched?
I feel like he is, but at different like levels. You know what I mean?
Is he like the Brooklyn guy of Happy Days?
Yeah. Except ends up being like the Brooklyn guy taking over Happy Days. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Brooklyn guy still seems to be, would you say he's the main character? He's like one of the main characters, but would you say he's the main character of SML?
He should be. I mean,
yeah.
There are some things where he is like the main character.
Yeah, because I feel like Fonzie, like when you think of SML, what do you think of? Do you think of Brooklyn guy?
I had to, well,
I mean, honestly,
if I think of SML, I'd think of Jeffy.
Yeah, I think most people do. But I think if most people think of Happy Days now, they think of Fonzie. You know what I mean? So, like, I feel like he's kind of like Brooklyn guy, but not really, because I feel like he ultimately became the main character. He wasn't like originally, as you know, the main character. I think it was supposed to be about Richie and the Cunninghams, but it ended up that, Fonzie became the main character somehow. From what I remember. I mean, I don't think anybody else had a cartoon about him like Fonzie with the dog that
I
wore
could
the
see
jacket.
I could see Richie being like Junior.
Yeah. Yeah. I can see that too. Like maybe when these episodes come on, it's like, is this a Junior episode or is it a Brooklyn guy episode? You
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
And like Potsie would be Joseph.
Yeah. And Ralph Muff, well,
I don't know who'd be Cody.
yeah. Yeah. So Fonzie's putting out the chairs with Richie, and then Fonzie's like, my boss let me do the truck. I still don't know how Fonzie has a boss. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't either.
He seems like the kind of guy that would be the boss. I would imagine probably as the series goes on, if we actually see that, Fonzie will be like the boss of whatever he has, like Fonzie's Garage or something. And I don't even know. I'm just guessing. But yeah. So they're putting out the chairs. The Reverend comes in. So yeah, so Fonzie leaves. The Reverend's coming in, and the Reverend asks if Fonzie is going to be part of the wedding. And they say no. And doesn't he say, like, well, that's good or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the Reverend didn't care too much for the Fonz. So then we cut to the wedding, right? I think that's next. Marion is playing the piano. Everybody's there for the wedding. Howard's the best man. The only thing missing is the groom. The groom went outside to shoot some hoops, and Howard goes out there with him to ask what's going on. And the groom is like, well, I just like to work up a sweat when I get nervous, and he's worried about the racism that is happening in the 1950s. And Howard tells him, well, just think what it's going to be like in the 60s, the 70s. It will be much better. You should go get married. And the other thing Howard says is that when he was a kid, I think in the 30s, right?
Yeah.
So here's what I'm wondering. Let's just say this is 1958, right? And we know that Marion and Howard have been married for 21 years because she mentions that in the episode earlier. So 1958. And again, I don't know what year it is. I feel like it's got to be less than 1958 if this was a 10-year series about the 50s, unless they just had the same year over and over.
Did he get married when he was a kid?
That's what, well, yeah, here's where I'm going with this. So 21 years from 58 would be 37, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah.
So if he was a kid then, like, kid to me seems like, I don't know. Like, what do you think a kid is? Like 10? Maybe around that area? What's the highest you think a kid is? Like, I guess if you ask one of the chain restaurants, it's like 12 or 10 and under, right?
They'd probably say something like 5.
Yeah. So they don't have, so like if you get that kids menu, it's like, you got to be 5 or under to get the $20 Eggs Benedict.
Yeah.
You think kids eat eggs? What is Eggs Benedict?
I don't even know what that is.
I know I've heard of it, but it feels like a little fancy to be on a kids menu. Feels like a little fancy to be on a chain restaurant menu, honestly. So, yeah. So anyways, like, let's just say for the sake of argument, he's 10. So then he'd be 31. A, he's not 31. You know what I mean? And then B, like, would he have been married at 10 if he's been married for 21 years? Wait, if he's a kid okay, let's say he's 10 in 1931. Let's just say that argument, right? Because he's saying he's a kid in the 30s. 1931, he's 10. What is it? 1958. What is that? 28. Wait, is that right? Am I doing my math right? 38? 1931 to 1958 is what? 27 years? If he's 10 and 19, okay, so he'd be 30. He is not 37. No way, no how.
He's like in his 50s.
Yeah, at least. Yeah. And then if he's 37, wait a minute. If he's 37 in 1958 and he got married in 20, then he would have been married at 16. I guess that's possible in the 50s. I don't know. Anyways, there's some math that's not really working. The math ain't mathin', as they say, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he talks Fred into, but while he's talking to Fred, they keep cutting back to the wedding, and the Cunningham family are trying to entertain the crowd. So we have Richie singing Row, Row, Row Your Boat.
You got Joni hula hooping.
Yeah. Then you got Marion playing. Oh, wait, doesn't she like say she doesn't have much left when they come back in or something?
I think so.
Yeah. So then you got Marion playing the piano. They end up getting married. Everybody's happy, right? Except for the father-in-law doesn't like Marion's piano playing. So he goes over and he starts playing the piano with Marion. Everybody's happy. The wedding happened. They got married. So we cut to the Cunningham kitchen. And did you notice that there was still a lot of cake left?
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing I'm wondering. I think they even mentioned that the new couple's on their honeymoon. Yet, why do they have the cake? Shouldn't the new couple get the cake?
Yeah.
What's the protocol? It's like if you host a wedding, you get the cake, the leftovers of the cake. I don't know about that. So,
Yeah, I feel like since, it's their wedding, it's their cake.
yeah. So they mentioned they're on their honeymoon, and maybe they should give a piece to Mrs. Flattery. Mrs. Flattery, the old racist woman that came in earlier. And they decide that they're going to give her the piece of cake with the cake topper on it, which is a black couple.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the episode, The Best Man, episode 14. We're a little bit out of order. We did 15 last week, 14 this week. So, Horrible Howard or Helpful Howard? What'd you think?
Helpful Howard.
Yes, Helpful Howard. He was there for his friend. He was the best man. He had the house.
He was also the only one that, wasn't racist.
Yeah, he was the only one seemingly in that family that initially wasn't racist.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I feel like that's a lot, but I feel like he did something else that I can't remember.
Help with the wedding.
Yeah, helped the wedding, had his family try to entertain the wedding guests. So,
Tried to give him, confidence, I guess.
yeah, he came out to give him a pep talk to get married. And yeah. So that was the episode. Number 14, The Best Man. And here's the question. Do you want to watch another?
Are you sure it gets better?
I am not. I thought it did.
Because I did not think it'd get worse than the beatniks.
Yeah.
F it. You know what? I'll watch another.
All right. So the Potsie Chronicles continues. The next episode will be the last one of season 1. Now, here's the thing that I can't remember if it gets retooled after season 1 or season 2, or Fonzie plays a more prominent role. But we may find out, we may not, because we have one more episode. I have to remember to renew these DVDs so I don't get charged for them. So, if you like this episode, please like, subscribe, tell everyone you know. If you didn't like it, please keep it to yourself. Thank you for listening.
What's Happy Days?